So there's a lot of change taking place, and I think what's going to happen now is we've got much more diversification, so the ability to actually start getting alpha in our portfolios, I suspect, is starting to come back, which we haven't had. We've had a very much a momentum-driven environment, and our ability to, it's going to be a low return environment, but we will be able to start picking new and interesting companies and winners. Having said that, from a South African perspective, if we look at our JSE and our domestic companies, we are being badly hollowed out here. Our big companies, you just look at your big companies like PPC, Murray & Roberts, Nampak, and you look at how these prices have dropped and how the size of these companies now, they're a shadow of what they used to be. So a lot of the investment opportunities, I think at this point, are not sitting necessarily in the JSE. There's a lot of work being done by government, but it's all going around because of the triple BEE processes. It's all taking place around the JSE and not through it, which is an important consideration. And certainly with the Reg 28 changes, we're allowed to actually do a bit more investment overseas, which is fantastic. And now that the rand is strengthening, it's a wonderful opportunity to actually go and invest. And that's where I think we're going to find lots of these new sectors, new interesting areas and industries to be able to go and invest in, which we're not necessarily capable of doing in South Africa. So to me, there's lots to look forward to next year. I mean, we're definitely not going to have as rough a year as we had this year. We know there's a vaccine coming. South Africa's already just announced that it's put 500 million or $33 billion into getting in line to get the vaccine, and of course that will come through at some point next year, and that will start to help. And I suspect, I think back to when I was a kid. I mean, we all had, for a couple of years, we had to have some drops of muti put into sugar lumps as little kids, and you had your polio vaccinations and things like that, and after a couple of years it disappeared. So I suspect this is going to be the kind of thing that's going to happen for a couple of years, and then in a couple of years' time it will not be the thing it is at the moment. So that's an important consideration. The fact that America's coming back to join the world, I think, is a very important consideration. It means there's going to be a lot more coordination. Doesn't mean to say I think it's going to get necessarily any easier between the US and China. My sense is you probably find they're going to harden up a little more on the trade side of it, one, and on the technology side and the cybersecurity side. These are all things that are not going away. They're going to push, because I think if we have a more benign, not so warlike kind of environment in 2021 to 25, you're going to find that the fight becomes a cyber/technology fight rather than a military fight, which obviously has lots of benefits for those who are wide awake instead of ducking. So it's a classic one of watching what's going on and not putting your head in the sand, because this is a time when there's lots of new things coming out into the investment world, which is going to give us an opportunity to invest in new and much more exciting things. So that split is that there are a lot of companies that are going to be really struggling after the COVID, and probably might fail. A lot of them have been able to carry on with a lot of relief programs, etc., etc. But if the economies don't come back in a hurry, which I don't think they're going to, these companies are going to have to downsize dramatically, which is going to change the way they employ people, the kind of products they offer, etc., etc. So there's lots of change that's likely to take place. And from an investment point of view, this is typically when strategists have the most work to do, because now you've got to really try and look through what's actually going on instead of having a momentum environment where everyone's just making money.